Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 27th of December 2019. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so guys, I hope you all had a wonderful period off. So yep, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you relaxed. And but now, yep, it's time to get back into the action. Before, of course, the another holiday, the New Year's celebration. So that's why, guys, for now, before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here. Later on we will have our daily commentary in a few hours. So yep, feel free to check us out here, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here. But for now, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE 100. I talked about this one on Monday and on Tuesday. Basically, what I was saying on Tuesday, and this is, by the way, a daily chart. What I was saying that in a way we would be looking for maybe a nice potential correction here before another leg of buying, but to be honest, the market is on a run here. So the equity markets are pushing nicely to the upside. But I was also mentioning that if we get a nice push above the 7,628 zone, then there's a good chance we may see this one drifting further north. Looking at the cash index right now, it is trading around roughly around the 7,650 territory. So in a way, everything's kind of leaning towards the upside. We are targeting this level right here near the 7,727 zone. The only thing is that, of course, given the current situation, we can see that the index is quite overstretched here to the upside. So maybe a bit of a correction could be possible as well. But again, in this market, we are in this rally right now, end of the year rally. So that's why, guys, be very careful with those shorts. Of course, it is quite tempting, don't get me wrong, but looking at the current situation, it seems that the market for now is trying to push further north. But again, of course, let's still not exclude the possibility of a potential correction, but for now it is a very tricky period. So that's why, guys, be very careful and keep an eye on the price action. Probably don't try to overtrade on this one, and keep your stop losses in place. But of course, for now, everything's still leaning towards the upside. Our target is near the 7,727 zone, but before it could travel there, to be honest, we are hoping maybe to see a bit of a correction, but again, it's very tricky with that. So for now, like I said, we will probably consider the downside maybe if we get a break of this short-term upside support line here, taken from the low of the 17th of December. So again, the downside still would be a short-term one. So that's why for now we're keeping this one careful and simple, and we're waiting for maybe a drop below this little territory. Let me just quickly adjust this, guys. So this probably something here that we will when we will consider a possible slide. So if we do see a drop below the 7,600 zone, then yes, we will aim for the downside a little bit here. So that's why, guys, for now, be very careful with the downside. For now, everything's kind of leaning more towards the upside. Now, jumping into another interesting instrument, gold. Now, of course, gold tends to be the safe haven when the equity markets are not performing very well. So, and that's understandable. So, but lately we can see that it also it continues to rally as well, together with the equity markets. So now it's very interesting here to see if it actually can continue pushing further north. But to be honest, it's something. It seems like that the investors are trying to be a little bit ahead of the game, and basically everybody understands that yes, the equity markets are rallying nicely, but at some point there could be a bit of a correction, and everybody understands as well that the positivity surrounding the US-China trade talks and the fact that they're willing to sign the phase 1 agreement. But again, we have seen this year several times when the positivity from the negotiations comes out, and then after that, a few days maybe later, we get some sort of negative news surrounding that. So and the market plummets, and or it doesn't plummet, but sells off a little bit, and then yep, we see the commodities rising. So here in this situation, it seems that like I said, investors are trying to be a little bit ahead of the game, and are trying to get into gold earlier probably. So of course this is just an assumption for now from our side here, from the technical side. Yes, it is traveling higher. I talked about this one on Tuesday, and basically on Tuesday and on Monday I talked about gold, and I was telling you guys that if we get a push above the 1487, then next target for us is going to be the 1500 level. But if that fails to withhold, then yes, we will aim for that 1516, 1518 territory here, which marks the highs of November and the high of October. So or should I say the 25th of October. There we go. That's more precise. So we will aim for that territory first. Of course, we're now seeing a small correction, which is quite healthy, I would say. Even if it travels a little bit lower, maybe tests the 21 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and if that continues to trade above it, if the price continues to trade above it, then yes, we could see another round of buying here. So that's why for now, be very careful here. Yes, we are aiming still for the upside, but first we may see a bit of a correction before another leg of buying. We will start considering the downs, or should I say slightly lower levels. If we do see a drop below the 1503 or 1500 level, then maybe we'll aim for these little lower areas. The only thing is here is that don't forget that we are now trading above this little short-term tentative upside support line. So that's why, guys, be very careful here with the downside. In a way, a drop below the 1487 could probably do the trick here for more sellers. So and let me just put the arrow right here. So basically that's where the downside could come. But for now, any move lower could be classed as a temporary correction before another leg of buying. AUDJPY. Now, looking at this picture here, and we can see that yes, it's climbing higher nicely. It managed to overcome this high. Let me just quickly put this one on the chart. The highest point of December near the 75.98 territory, roughly around there. It managed to overcome that, and it continues to push to the upside. Now, that said, of course, don't get me wrong, although everything is kind of leaning more towards the upside, still the risk kind of remains, especially if the equity markets start correcting. We may see AUDJPY correcting as well, so the yen buying may be increased. But again, probably we will consider the downside on this one, at least the short-term downside, if we get a drop below this little territory right here near the 75.54, 55 mark, and only then we will aim for lower areas like the this one right here, the low of the 18th of December near the 74.83 zone. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. For now, everything's kind of course, leaning more towards the upside. We are still trading above this little short-term tentative upside support line I just drawn here, but to be honest, don't focus on it too much because it's a very tentative one. So mainly focus on some key support and resistance levels. So for now, the fact that it's trading above its December high, of course it's a positive, but it's still very close to it. So that's why be very careful here. It may turn down if the equity markets start moving lower a little bit. But as I said, we will consider slightly lower areas if we see a drop below the 75.54 territory. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. USDJPY. Now, slightly similar story here. The only thing is that for now we can see that the pair continues to struggle to overcome this little territory here near the 109.73. It did have a nice push higher yesterday, but you can see that it failed and the pair started drifting lower. Now what we can see here is that the pair is kind of stuck here roughly between the 109.73 on the upside and the 109.17 on the downside. So in a way, in this little range here, that's where the pair is trading in. We will remain neutral as long as the rate continues to sit in this little area. We need to wait for a clear breakthrough one of these sides before we could consider a further directional move. But even let's say if it drops below the 109.17 or even drops below the 200 EMA, to be honest, there is still to consider something here, like for example this little short-term tentative upside support line. So which in a way could provide some decent support, and this is where the rate could stall initially or even actually rebound. So that's why, guys, let's keep it short and simple. If we do see a drop below the 109.17 and this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, then yes, we will aim for this upside support line initially, and then we'll take it from there. If we do get a push above the 109.73 mark, then well, this is where it could become a little bit more exciting for the buyers, and we could start targeting areas, especially this one right here, the high of the 21st of May. Let me just double check that. That's correct, the 21st of May, and that's roughly around the 110.67 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. For now, like I said, we are neutral on this pair, and we're waiting for a clear breakthrough one of these levels that I've talked about recently, or just right now. GBPNZD. Now, I talked about this pair as well, and this is what I wanted to quickly show you. I talked about this one on Tuesday, and basically what I was saying that yes, there is a potential for this one maybe to drift lower. The only thing is that it continues to find good support near the 1.9472. Now, looking at the 4-hour chart here, you can see that we did have a break here lower, and then kind of the pair hanging around here, found good support near the 1.9412 area, roughly around here, and then it pushed to the upside again. So, but looking at the daily chart, this is where it's becoming a little bit more interesting, because you can see that the pair kind of never closed below this 1.9472 zone, and it kind of always remained above it. So that's why we're going to keep an eye on this one. It's quite interesting to see that it's still holding above this, and in a way this creates this little positive atmosphere for now. So we may see maybe another push higher, maybe towards this 200-day EMA here near the 1.9550 territory, and then we'll take it from there. Because if it pushes back above this 200 EMA, then yes, there is a possibility for a further move higher. The only thing is that probably in the near term, if we would like to consider high levels, a push above the 1.9650 territory somewhere around here could do the trick here for more buyers, and we could see this one maybe climbing back up here towards maybe even the psychological 2 territory. But to be honest, for now, still the downside kind of scenario still remains present, especially if the rate reverses and drops back below the 1.9472. But this time, probably to be on the safe side, we'll wait for a drop below 1.9412 in order to consider further declines. But then again, there is a very strong area of support around here near the low of the 10th of October, and that's around the 1.9312 territory, so about 100 points lower. So this is where, in a way, the pair could travel. Currently, looking at the daily chart, it is trading below the 200-day EMA, so which kind of puts more of a negative spin on the whole kind of near-term outlook. But again, given that the pair is quite overstretched here to the downside, maybe a bit of a correction could be possible. But then again, like I said, that's why we'll have this level here, the 1.9650, roughly around there, as our level for a possible move higher, where we will, after which we could consider a possible move higher. Up until here, anything could still be seen as a correction, a temporary correction before another leg of selling. But the only thing is, with the selling side, we'll probably wait for a drop below the low here, the 1.9412, and only then aim for the downside. So keep your eyes on this one. And Euro USD, the last one for this session, I talked about this on Tuesday, of course, and basically what I was saying, that in order for us to get comfortable with the upside, we need to see not only a good push, or should I say a break of this downside resistance line here, taken from the high of the 13th of December, but also a nice push above the 1.1110 or even the 1.1124. So we can see that the pair is traveling higher right now. But let me just jump back into a 4-hour chart. You can see that yes, everything's kind of looking quite positive here for the euro dollar. So for now, we will aim for the upside. It's going to be very interesting to see if this level can surrender easily, the 1.1124. But if it cannot, then we may see a bit of a correction back down, and we could be getting ourselves maybe somewhat of a range here. So that's why the way you could play this one out in the short run is, if you see the 1.1124 area holding, and then the rate reverses and drops back below the 1.1110 territory, now this is where the worry signs could appear, and we could maybe target the 1.1065 again, or even this upside support line taken from the low of the 1st of October. Now, but if this 1.1124 territory surrenders easily, and we see a further move higher, then of course levels to consider are going to be initially the 1.1144, then slightly higher right here, and let me just quickly mark that on the chart. So then the next one to consider is around the 1.1158, but the main one to watch for us is of course this 1.1183, roughly around there, 83, 85. That's what we're going to be looking at as our main target if we see a further strong push away from the 1.1124 zone. So guys, keep your eyes on this one. Today is the last trading day for this week. Of course, that's understandable. So we'll jump on a few different instruments, maybe a few of these, the same ones, and a few different ones on my trader's tea time today. Later on at my 14:15 GMT, we'll have a look at the market then. But it could in a way present itself as a nice, interesting day. So basically, this is the last Friday for this year, last trading day, and last Friday for this year. So let's see how the market is going to perform. For now, the only thing I can suggest is, of course, stay safe, guys. Have your stop losses in place. Don't overtrade. If it's not going well, just try to maybe leave it and move away. Just don't try to ruin your 2019. But be very careful, guys. Like I said, thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And like I said, join me at my trader's tea time, 14:15 GMT. But for now, I hope you have a beautiful trading day, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.